I have an example too, where I had a colleague, and something about her, it just irked me, just her presence, being around her. And
Yeah.
now that I reflect back on that, what I believe is what I didn't like about her was what I still didn't like about me.
That is the truth. What we see in others that we don't like is a reflection of us.
Yeah. So she had this thing where she would always talk about how great she was and what a great therapist she was. And when I reflect back to that time, I also had this belief that I was a better therapist than everybody else. and so when I look back at that time, she was displaying what I had in me, what my ego was telling me. My ego was telling me, you're better than everybody else when it comes to therapy. Like, the only way.
Yeah. So whatever the trigger is, right? If someone triggers us, we're like, why is that a trigger for me? Oh yeah, maybe there's that mirroring.
Exactly. And back then, the way that I ended up dealing with that was because I didn't like her energy, was blocking her, because I just didn't want to see her posts on Facebook anymore. I didn't want to be around her because it just made me feel, yuck. But now, the way that I see things now, because that's where I was then, is like, in order for me not to be in that energy, I needed to just block that energy. I believe we don't block, because that's our greatest fast track to evolution, is allow these people to come into our lives. And if we are really learning and evolving, we won't be triggered. But if we are triggered, that's the greatest gift of all, to find out, well, what's still inside me that I'm still so bothered by this person. And so
Love it.
don't block. Grow, let's grow with the experience.
Accept it, breathe it in. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the other thing I realized, I'm taking this emotional intelligence course, and actually I'm training right now. I was coaching it. And what I realized and what came up for me is, even though I work really, really hard at being non-judgmental, we as humans, our ego minds are judgmental. I don't care who you are, unless maybe you're Jesus or Gandhi or Buddha. And I even think they probably struggled with it because they had the human ego. And it's typical for us to immediately judge. And the important part is that we step back away from it and we say, there's no judgment here. Like, we don't get to judge. We're not the ones to judge. But it does come up, right? And then you have to step away from it and be like, no, I love these people. I love I love who they are. And how do I see them in a really loving way? Because it always happens, right? It just sometimes it's working through it where it's not as long as being a judgmental with everyone.
Yeah, it always happens because it's part of the human ego, and it's part of this whole belief in separation, that I am separate to you and I need to protect my identity, and I need to know where my identity fits in the social hierarchy. So I'm either less than or better than someone else, because we're in a hierarchy. That's what the ego believes. But we know that that's not the case. But also, I think it's important that when we see ourselves judging, that we actually be okay with the fact that we did, in the sense that don't judge ourselves for judging. Because then that's the spiritual ego. The spiritual ego comes in through the back door and will always use spirituality to have a once up and say, you see, you're still judging. Don't judge. That's not very enlightened of you.
And on top of that, what I realize is people that judge others, more the judgmental, they're very judgmental about themselves.
Totally.
So it's an inner reflection, right? Totally. They don't feel good enough. Yeah.
When I used to see weight loss clients, and I had, a lot of very large women, they were the ones that were the most judgmental about body image. And how can that person wear, those clothes when you can clearly see they shouldn't be wearing them, Totally. But the real superpower is in seeing the judgment, because we can, the first stage is we're unconscious to it. We're judging, we don't know we're judging, we just think it's the truth. But the next stage is, hey, I'm judging. And therefore, when you see that you're actually judging that person, is to be aware of it. When you're aware of it, it's going to dissolve. Yeah. But without judging yourself for judging.
Right. Yeah.
Don't judge yourself. Say, I'm human. I do have a human ego. And in that moment, isn't that funny how I judge that person when I know we're all the same? When I know we all come from the same God spark, when I know that that person's soul and my soul is all connected into the universe, but I still judged.
Right. And so it's being aware of those people that do like kind of trigger you, or that you have in your life, or you see at the grocery store that feels, you feel that energy, right? And then it's about not judging and loving, and realize that they're there for a reason, and you get to learn something from it.
And even with relationships, with people who are in relationships, say with a narcissist, and it's like, I heard this conversation recently. He made me feel really bad about myself. Well, he can't make you feel bad about yourself, no matter how he treated you, because you felt that about yourself in order to allow another human to treat you that way. So this person has given you a gift, because now maybe you're going to consider self-worth.
Right. And no one has the control over you. No one has the power to make you feel any way. Like no one is that powerful to make you ever feel any way at all.
Yeah. And that's why, exactly, Caryn. And that's why on Insta, there's a lot of posts about narcissism, about these are the red flags and these are the green flags. They really irk me, those posts, because all these people are playing a beautiful role. They play a role. I know that it's impossible for any narcissist to come into my life and have any relationship with me, because I don't allow that kind of energy. So if you allow that kind of energy, there needs to be self-reflection. Well, why do you think that you deserve to be treated like that? And so if that person has come into your life, it's an opportunity to really do some self-reflection and think, okay, what do I really believe is my worth? Thanks for watching. We hope you loved it.
And if you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
And remember, always connect to your truest essence.
And choose love. We'll see you next time.